What's up, people? Welcome back to the Boxing Objective. Today's video is going to be about the up and coming heavyweight bout between Joyce and Carlos Takam. Now, as usual, I'm going to be talking about both fighters and their attributes. I'm going to be talking about how I think this fight is going to go. And I'm going to talk a little bit about the politics, which actually I might touch on first. Now, I find it a bit strange because this fight is set for the 25th or the 24th of July, which is either the same day or the day before Tyson Fury and Deontay Wilder go into their third fight. Now, obviously, Joyce is with Frank Warren at Finsbury Promotions and Carlos Takam is with Top Rank. So I'm not quite sure why they didn't decide to maybe put this fight on the undercard of the third fight between Wilder and Fury. I mean, it kind of doesn't make that much sense. I think they would have been on a bigger stage, these two, but hey, maybe they see it as a main event fight in its own right. I mean, it could be a co-main event between these two, but hey, it is what it is. Frank Warren made some comments post the Daniel Dubois fight, which kind of made me think that maybe Joyce and Frank Warren haven't got that good of a relationship behind the scenes. I mean, Joyce is now 35 or 36. Daniel Dubois is a lot younger, in his early 20s, so Joyce winning that fight might not have been part of the plan. They might have preferred Daniel Dubois to go a lot longer undefeated because he's the younger man, probably with the brighter prospects and maybe having a longer career. He's more likely to have the time to challenge for a world title, whereas Joyce, he's only getting older and his time potentially could be running out. So what Frank Warren suggested was that if Daniel Dubois didn't injure his eye in that fight, then the fight would have turned out differently. When Joyce pretty much defeated Daniel Dubois one-handed. He was feeding him that jab the whole fight and broke his orbital bone. So make of that what you will, but I found that comment very strange. Now, many of you may already know that Joyce was in fact a 2016 silver medalist in the Olympics, and since turning pro, he's knocked up a record of 12 fights, 12 victories, with 11 of them coming by way of knockout. Now, he's very powerful, he's got a good jab, he hasn't really got quick hands, but strangely enough, he's got quite quick feet, because I believe, aside from boxing, he has some kind of martial arts background. I think one of the disciplines he takes part in is capoeira. Now, they don't call him the juggernaut for nothing. This man just keeps coming forward, and his ability to hold a heavy shot is quite something. As we know, Daniel Dubois is heavy-handed, to say the least. And with a record of 16-1 with 15 knockouts, I think it's safe to say that, you know, everything he hits is probably gonna hit the deck. And Joyce took Daniel Dubois' best shot quite a few times, was even rocked, but was still continuously coming forward. Now, he's tough and he's got a lot of heart, but I don't know how he would do against one of the elite heavyweights. Somebody who can put a lot of heavy shots together. I don't know how you're gonna do against that. So it will be interesting to see how he does against such a fighter. Now, Carlos Takam is no cupcake, and he is a seasoned veteran of this sport. He's been around for quite some time, and he has a record of 39 fights with 5 losses and 1 draw, 28 knockouts, and out of those 5 fights he lost, he's been knocked out 3 times. The most notable names that he's faced is probably, of course, Anthony Joshua, as he was a replacement opponent for the first Pulev fight that was supposed to happen, and he did cause AJ some problems, breaking his nose with an accidental headbutt, and he did make a decent account of himself, but of course Anthony Joshua was too much for him in the end. He fought Derek Chisora, and I think I said it in a previous video, this is one of my favorite fights that I've ever watched, and I think it's available on YouTube. The whole fight's available on YouTube. It was all systems go from the first bell, and it ended with Chisora knocking Carlos Takam out. He's fought Joseph Parker and Alexander Povetkin. Now, Takam is a pressure fighter who's also quite durable, and he's given up a bit of reach on Joyce, where Joyce is 6'6", Carlos Takam is 6'2". So I expect a lot of what Carlos Takam tries to do is going to be on the inside. He's going to want to get close to Joyce, sit on his chest and just wail on him. Now, Carlos Takam previously has been a very, very busy fighter, putting out a lot of punches, working hard consistently throughout any fight that he's been in. But where he's in the latter stages of his career, I'm not quite sure what version of Carlos Takam is going to show up. I mean, his last fight was a year ago. I think it was in July of 2020. And given his age, I think it would be better if he was a bit more active. But again, it is what it is. I mean, 2020 was pretty much rough for the entire world, so we give him that. But I think he could possibly present some problems for Joyce, because Carlos Takam is going to come to fight. That's what he does. He shows up to fight, and I can't wait to see what happens when these two collide. Now, with that being said, I'm going to give Joyce the nod on this one. I just think he's going to work that jab really, really well, probably preventing Carlos Takam from getting inside a lot. And I suspect that maybe this one could end with a knockout. So that's me. That's all I've got to say on this subject. If you haven't already, guys, I really would appreciate it if you would to like, comment and subscribe on this video. As I said previously, I've also got an Instagram page by the same name, and I would appreciate if you gave me a follow on there. I sometimes drop previews and ads for the videos that are up and coming, so it's a good way to see what's on the way. I'm going to catch you guys on the next video. I'll probably be posting again this week, so keep your eye out for it. Thanks a lot, guys, for all the support. Peace.